Welcome or welcome back to my channel, and welcome to video 1 of 3, I think, that I'm going to be doing for the Goodreads Choice Awards. I am so excited to make content around this year. It's been so fun, so exciting seeing everyone's thoughts, feelings, opinions, content ideas around this. And as always, are we disappointed? Yes. This video is about horror. We're talking about the 20 horror books that were nominated. Now, I did a video predicting. Out of those that I predicted, I was right about 14 of them, which I think is pretty good. Like, is it passing? No, but I was really iffy on a lot of them. And a couple of them, if I would have just looked at their average rating, I would have known not to pick them. But they were books that I really liked, and I just wanted to ignore that. Out of the 7 that I was wrong about, I have read 2 of them and read 10 of the ones that I had guessed. So that's not terrible. That means we have 7 books to read. So that's a lot for one vlog, but I want to be as well informed as possible while voting. So what are we reading? What is the TBR? I own 2 of them. I own We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad. This has not been getting the best ratings, so I'm just a little bit nervous about that, but this is a prequel sequel situation for Bunny, which is one of the, it's just like the Weird Girl Bible, you know? And this, we're following all of the bunnies during the same events that we followed Samantha in for book 1. I'm about 100 pages into this and have been for quite some time now. I'm excited to get back into it. I personally was enjoying it while I was reading it, but we'll see. And then the other one that I already own is How Bad Things Can Get by Darcy Coates. This is about like a Mr. Beast style influencer event on an island, and there's like competitions and stuff. I'm quite excited for this one. I've only read one Darcy Coates, but I liked it. So I think there's a high probability of me liking this one. These 2 books were ones I was planning on reading eventually anyway. I actually went to author events for both of these books, and these are both signed, which is really fun. So these ones I'm very excited about. And then 2 of the books that I had predicted, I had put on hold from the library because there was just no shot that Grady Hendrix and Stephen King weren't going to be in the Goodreads Choice Awards for horror. So these ones are probably not ones that I would have picked up anytime soon. I probably wouldn't have picked up Witchcraft or Wayward Girls ever. Not entirely excited for this one, but I'm willing to give it a shot. This is my 3rd Grady Hendrix, and I have enjoyed none so far. So we'll see how that goes. And then Never Flinch by Stephen King is in the Holly Gibney universe. It started with the Mr. Mercedes trilogy, and then it went to The Outsider, and then it went to Holly, like she got her own book, and I have really liked those. And there's also like mini-series adaptations of the Mr. Mercedes and The Outsider, and both of those are good as well if you were in the need for something to watch. But I probably would have picked this up eventually, just like not right now. And then the other one that I currently have access to and for sure won't have to buy is Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McCauley. I have this on audio from it was sent to me in some way, shape, or form, so I will be listening to that one. But this is like a slasher. I think that's kind of all I know about it. And then the 2 that I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to get are The Haunting of Payne's Hollow by Kelly Armstrong. I'm not super sure what this one is about. There's a horse on it, so that should be interesting. Horses can be scary. We shall see. And then one that I probably wouldn't have picked up because I didn't enjoy my last Rachel Harrison, although this one seems to be getting a lot of like positive ratings from people who are, I think, would be critical of Rachel Harrison if they did not like it, and that's Play Nice. It's a haunted house story from what I know. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get access to 2 of those. I really don't want to have to buy them. I would love to not have to spend money on them because I don't think that they're going to be like my absolute favorites. Then for the 13 that I have read so far, this is my ranking. All of these books have to beat When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy, but they also have to beat The Lamb by Lucy Rose because I'm honestly really in between those 2. They are both phenomenal reads of this year, and honestly, everything that I have read so far this year, specifically like the top 10, I've really, really loved. Like, I would not hesitate to recommend any of those. It's been a really good year for horror, and I also think I know my taste. I'm not expecting really to find a new favorite with what I'm reading. I just think that this will be a fun video for me to make. And I am excited for the 2 that I already own. Like, I wanted to read those anyway. So, wish me luck. Let's get into the vlog. Hello, I am 60% of the way done with Witchcraft for Wayward Girls and liking it more than I thought I was going to. It's definitely my favorite Grady Hendrix that I've read so far. Probably also my last, though. It hasn't like changed anything for me, but it is good. Like, it's kind of like Girl Interrupted meets The Craft, but everyone's pregnant. And it's stressful, for sure, because it's all children that are pregnant. Our main character that we're following, Fern, which is not her real name, they all have to pick fake names, is 15. When her dad drops her off to, it's super heartbreaking because she's like, hey, you're going to say goodbye to me before you leave, right? I am 15 and you're leaving me with strangers against my will. And he ducks out of there without saying goodbye to her. It's so fucked up. And then they kind of find camaraderie because they're all in the same situation, right? They're in this house they don't want to be in. They're all pregnant, and a lot of them is against their will, obviously, because they're children. But they get to have a few privileges, like going into town, mainly getting to see this, like, traveling librarian, kind of, and get books, but they have to be approved. But they manage to sneak in this one magical book, and they start doing magic. It starts out pretty minimal, but obviously the coven that is actually the librarian encourages them, and they start with these spells that are like cursing people, but only to feel what they've felt or are feeling. And obviously they're super uncomfortable and in pain because they're pregnant and giving birth. But we have escalated up to the point that someone has given birth to what feels like maggots, which is disgusting. You're right, it is gross. I did have my jaw dropped. But now we're going back into kind of more like interpersonal things, and I'm a lot less interested in that. It felt like the maggot birth was a climax, but that was at like 55% of the way into the book. So I don't know where we're going to go up from here or how interested I'm going to be. But luckily, my library hold did come in for the physical book. I'm really excited about that. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow morning because they were doing these like chants and curses, and the audio is crazy. But it was so annoying to listen to. So I'm glad to have the physical book. And my prediction for how I'm feeling about this is like a 3-star. It's fine. And I'm not super upset now that I've had to read it. There have definitely been like good moments, but it's not really for me. Again, as we know, famously, not into pregnancy horror, freaks me out, do not care for it, especially when it's written by a man. He's been doing better as far as writing women this time, but I don't know why he always has to write women. So I'm very excited to wake up tomorrow and film my reactions to the Goodreads Choice Awards. Obviously you've already seen it, but I haven't yet, so I'm excited for it to be in my timeline too. Okay, great news. I have finished Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and also I have acquired Plain Ice by Rachel Harrison. Someone in my book club had it and has lent it to me, which is so kind. So I don't have to pay for this one. Excited about it. And maybe I'll love it and want my own copy. That's great. I just didn't want to buy it since I didn't like the other Rachel Harrison I had. I've also acquired 2 more books. He also gave me They Fear Not Men in the Woods. I don't know if I'm going to like this, but I really like this cover, so we shall see. And if not, I shall pass it on to somebody else since he was so kind to just like give it to me. And then I also ran to Barnes & Noble super quick since we're leaving. I'm going to pause this vlog and we're going to go take a little vacation. I grabbed The Strength of the Few for our vacation. I'm so excited about this. Do you guys see how this is not white? That's so odd. But I'm super excited to get to this too. But that's not why you're here. You're here for Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. And the second half did lose me a little bit. I just don't think that I like the subject matter of this book, honestly. It was like a 3-star read for me, and I liked parts of it. It was very like, go women. Women should get to choose, but only kind of. It also felt like your biggest fulfillment is having children, and that's like the only way that you can be fulfilled, and I didn't love that about it. I wish there was more horror in the pregnancy horror and also more witchcraft in the Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. So those are my 2 big complaints about this book. I thought that the narrator was a pretty realistic 15-year-old and also made relatively good decisions for the most part, but also like she's 15, so she's not going to make all the best decisions. I think it was realistic. And this is going to go probably at the bottom of everything that I've read, just because I haven't hated anything that I've read so far this year. My current ranking is looking like. And now, if I do this again, I am just going to exclude Grady Hendrix, because I just know for sure that he's not for me. Famously, I have trouble locking in. I have not started this one yet, and I'm going to bring back Focus Friend so that I can read for an hour and see how far I can get through. Oh, that's fun. Pink and purple. Because I need to get this done before book club this week because someone loaned this to me, but he was going to bring it to our book club to offer to someone else, and I still want that to happen because I don't need this book. I really don't think that this is going to be a 5-star, and if it is, I will purchase it myself. I would like someone else to be able to have this specific copy because I just don't think that I'm going to love it or need it, and I would like to pawn it off as quickly as possible. So this book is about 300 pages long. Let's see how far I can get in an hour. We also have a guest. Fall asleep, but I also read 200 pages of Plain Ice. It's going so well. I was so prepared to either DNF this book or tell you how much I was not enjoying it. I did not like So Thirsty at all. This is so much fun though. This is a great time. We are following Cleo, who's the youngest of 3 sisters, and her parents, both of them have their issues. They divorced when she was pretty young, and her mom is like the problematic parent, is how it kind of feels. Her mom was an alcoholic, she was abusive, and believed in ghosts, demonology, that kind of thing, and thought their house was haunted, and kind of lost custody of the girls, and they mostly are around their dad and their stepmom, who is also their dance teacher. Problematic for non-supernatural reasons. But Cleo is kind of just like very into herself and can't be alone with her thoughts. But she's meant to be not likable, but you still really like her, and that is so working on me. I love her, I adore her, and she's kind of dealing with this entity that exists in the house, and her mom had written a book about it, had found the first half of the book in the house because her mom has passed. She's trying to redecorate it, to flip it and sell it. Her sisters had made a pact to not read this book because, you know, they thought her mom was totally off her rocker, but her mom had left her this book and annotated it for her, writing her notes. The first half she found and read. The second half her dad had taken and ends up burning, and she's like super pissed about it, obviously. And she's also starting a little like romance situation with the neighbor next door, which is very fun. What this house seemed to have done to her mother is isolate her, and that's kind of why she died, and I'm wondering if it's going to do that to Cleo too. Cleo has like a pretty solid support system, all things considered. She doesn't have a ton of friends though, not like real ones, it seems like. They're all influencers in New York City and kind of flaky, so we'll see how that goes. But I have about 100 pages left. I'm flying through this book. I'm really liking it. I'm so surprised. It's probably going to go into my top 10, I think. I'm having a great time with it. I wanted to not like this so badly. I liked it so much. This is 4.5 stars for me. This is where it is on our list. I don't know if it cracked the top 5 or not, because I don't remember exactly what's on there, but this was so much fun. We end up seeing Cleo kind of like go head to head with her demons in this house, and her sister's coming back her up, which was like not really happening thus far, and that just made everything more tight knit. She kind of just like had to see her parents as real people instead of her parents anymore. For mommy and daddy issues, equal opportunity parental issues in this book, so that's great. And it was just cheesy. It was fun. I liked it a lot. It wasn't like shocking or brand new, but it, you know, was horror but also made you feel good. I liked it a lot. It was really good. I'm going to secure my own copy and give this one back. I think it's the only one so far where I probably would not have read it without the Goodreads Choice Awards, but I'm very glad that I have. So far everything has just kind of like exactly as I'd expected, and I feel kind of indifferent towards it, except for Plain Ice. And the only one that I have left to read now that is not really on my list before, like I don't own it, is Never Flinch by Stephen King. So let's get that over with. Great news, we're DNFing a book. I got 40% of the way into this, and beyond just kind of being bored, not really caring about what's happening, Holly's in here a little bit, but also I just kind of don't care. We're also getting the perspective from the bad guy, and maybe there's some big twist later on. Sure. I just don't think that I care. Also, they keep having this person. I don't know what she does. I think she might be an author. I'm confused if people just go to listen to her talk. I don't think she's a politician. But she is touted as being like super mega woke, or at least the conservative people see her that way. Stephen King's brain, just when it comes to politics, it gives me confusion. But she keeps talking, making this joke about how men can't be pregnant, and I'm just over it. That was my final straw. And I gave this a fair shake. I think 40% into a book this size it's probably almost a couple hundred pages. I'm done with this book. So I did not expect that this was going to be the book that I would DNF out of everything. But I'm happy to have this be over with, and I can move on to things that I'm more excited about. So I did in fact finish and not update you at all Breathe In and Bleed Out by Brian McCauley. One, it's pretty short. It's like an 8-hour long audiobook, and I kind of hated it, to be quite honest with you. It felt predictable. It felt derivative. It was a slasher. Maybe I just don't enjoy reading slashers. I'm not sure. I haven't read like a ton of them. There have been a couple that I've liked, but I haven't, like, that's not my main like subgenre of horror that I typically read from. This was just annoying to read from. I also hated our main character. She felt really stupid and annoying, and like if I met her in real life I would hate her. But she has this big secret and decides, oh, now it's time for me to go on this like yoga retreat, healing, spiritual bullshit. And she goes with people who are kind of her friends, but also she kind of seems to hate. And this slasher situation starts happening, and she keeps being the last person to see them alive. And there are two culprits that are not working together at all. It's not like a Scream situation. It's much stupider. And the retreat that they're at, there's this white man that is all like woo-woo, but he has hired an indigenous woman to like make it seem more realistic, and she's like in on the shtick and is just like there for a check, obviously. And this woman's big secret also just like, one, doesn't affect the story at all. It does not matter. And also, if she were to reveal it, would not matter. It actually made me so angry. Like, if it didn't exist, it wouldn't have affected the story. And I feel like that's a really bad secret to have. Like, it's just a bad literary device. And a bunch of people died, did not care that they died. They were annoying to me. It did not matter to me at all. And then we reveal who the big bad person is, and it's like, I'm actually just happy this is over. Everybody could have died and it would have been fine and I wouldn't have cared. Which just doesn't feel like a good book to me. So, as we both know, I ended up DNFing Never Flinch. I'm putting this under that. I actually felt little for Never Flinch. I hated this one. So it's going underneath at number 20. And I'm just excited to be done with it and move on to the next thing. So let's do that, I guess. Like, I don't even want to read. I feel like I need to go take a walk and take a breath because this was just not good. I've had some wins. I need to remember that I've had some wins this video and this has not been a waste of my time, and that I'm really excited to read what's left. So let's go do that, I guess. So I've started Payne's Hollow, The Haunting of Payne's Hollow by Kelly Armstrong, and I love a story where we start with an absolutely absurd will and that kicks off all the shenanigans. Like, Knives Out was so fun. This is absurd in a different way. We are following Samantha Payne, who is the granddaughter of this man, and she's kind of estranged from everybody and doesn't go to Payne's Hollow anymore, which is this stretch on Lake Ontario, like 300 acres and worth $10 million. But it's supposed to go to the oldest son, who's her father, but she saw her father kill somebody and he's in jail, and everyone is super mad at her for it for the most part. And she has to take care of her mom, who is starting to have Alzheimer's, I think, and it's very expensive to have someone in those kinds of care facilities. She can't really afford it, but with this $10 million she could take care of her mom and go back to school to be a doctor, because she's a nurse right now, which is not good enough, I guess. So the only thing that she has to do is spend a month at Payne's Hollow, and obviously all of these things start to happen, all of these haunting things, and the caretaker of this space is the older brother of the person that she saw got killed. And we're starting to learn more and more things. I'm like halfway through it at this point. It's one of the only ones I have on audio, so I'm kind of cruising through it. The audio is fine. Like it's nothing special, but it's not bad by any means. I feel like I'm just gonna feel kind of mid about this book. I don't think there's really anything this book could do to wow me. I think it's gonna end up somewhere at mid to mid bottom, probably. There's just been a lot of good horror this year. It's not this book's fault. I don't really understand why it's in the Goodreads Choice Awards. Not done with it yet. I probably wouldn't have read it without the Goodreads Choice Awards, and maybe I'll find a new favorite. Who knows? It is also Friday. It's the weekend, and I'll be able to finish this vlog up and have it up before all of the voting. They close the voting for the first round, because then everything goes away for like a little bit until they do the final round. So that's what I wanted from this video anyway, so that's great. And everything is going well so far, except for Breathe and Bleed Out. Did not like that one, but it's fine. It's fine. I finished Payne's Hollow. I'm surprised this is on the Goodreads Choice Awards, honestly. Like, it wasn't phenomenal. It felt pretty, like, not unique. I'm surprised that it was on here at all. It was kind of like the author's take on the Headless Horseman, but it's about and the grumpy groundskeeper and her kind of team up to overthrow like the man. We find out, this is spoilers I guess a little bit, and if you want to end up reading this, we find out her mom is actually the bad guy, and probably she didn't need to be providing for her in this care home at all. They use the supernatural big bad Headless Horseman man to protect themselves and get away, and they adopt the dog. And that's kind of like the big things that happened. It's definitely a don't know who you can trust until the very end kind of situation, and I enjoy that. It's almost more of a mystery than a horror book. So if you are really into like a mystery, I think that this would work more for you than if you're looking for horror. There were little parts that were horrific, and there were deaths that I felt sad about for sure, but this was like a 3.5-star read for me, but I enjoyed my time. Like, I've had a much worse time reading other 3.5-star books. It's just like, I read it and then I'm probably not going to remember it by this time next year. It was pretty, it didn't impact me in any way. I won't be putting it on my shelves, nothing like that, but I'm not upset for having read it, and I got to listen to it with my Spotify audiobook hours is how I read it. I'm glad I didn't buy it. I'm really glad that I didn't just like buy everything that I didn't have for this video, because that would have been, one, really expensive, and two, I just would have been giving them away right away for most of them. This is our current ranking, and let's move on to something I'm a little more excited about reading probably. Chair has been taken, so we're gonna do this from the floor. I guess we collectively obviously have been reading How Bad Things Can Get by Darcy Coates, and I'm having such a good time. This is so fun. I got to see her talk about this, and she talked about Mr. Beast a lot, and the inspiration from this is very clear. We're following Eton, a guy who is rich and does all of these like pranks or like challenge kinds of videos, and has all of these influencers on this secluded island, and he is having them go through these challenges and is not really concerned about anybody's safety for some reason. But we're also from the perspective of Ruth, I think her name is, and she has a big secret, and we don't know what the secret is yet, but she's there with a group of friends and is just like super duper anxious all of the time, and gets randomly selected, but it feels like predetermined for one of these challenges, and it's very dangerous. This girl basically goes to like their version of the hospital, and there's another man named Logan, and Eton is very upset that Logan is there because Logan is like notorious for killing careers and exposing people, and it is just so like online. It's challenges, it's fun, and I think it's gonna be culty from what I remember her talking about. That's like, it's like she made a book for me. That I'm so excited about this. I'm having such a good time. I don't think it's going to be 5 stars, but I do think that I'm going to have a 5-star time. Like, I don't think this book is not going to give me a 5-star feeling, but I'm going to have a 5-star time reading this book. So we are very excited about that. Oh, my co-star is not very professional and is showing my clean laundry pile. But yeah, this is going really well as far as the beginning of this, and I'm really excited to continue with it. I have finished How Bad Things Can Get by Darcy Coates, and I love this one. It was so fun. Also, When I thought I didn't like reading slashers because of Breathe In Bleed Out, that apparently traumatized me. This was also a slasher. I would consider it to be one, and it was so fun. The cult ends up having some kind of activity on the island, and some of her visions come true. There's a lot of like gory deaths. There is a lot of, you know, people getting what's coming to them, and I just had such a lovely time. Like, this was such a perfect fun read. If you just want like a fun slasher that's fast paced and there's a lot of characters, a lot of moving parts, you're trying to figure out who is who and who is doing what, and reveals until the very end of the book, this is that book. This was a lovely time. I'm giving this 4.25 stars, and I don't know that I liked it more than Play Nice, but I did have a great time with it. This one I would have picked up without the Goodreads Choice Awards though, and I would have had a lovely time. Probably not as soon. I'm glad I picked it up when I did though. I needed a win. I did in fact need a win. This is great. Let's move on to the last book. We're almost done. Okay, it's time to lock in. I am like 100 pages into Bunny. We Love You, Bunny. I have been for months, but now we're finally going to finish this book. So far what we know is that all of the bunnies from Bunny by Mona Awad have trapped Sam after she's written a book about them, and she's tied up and they're just yapping at her, and there's like infighting obviously because they're all crazy, but they're arguing over their version of the course of events that happens during Bunny, and we're getting to hear from them. A lot of people don't seem to like this, but the first 100 pages I'm loving. They sound batshit and it's so fun. They're awful and I can't wait to continue and read about how awful they are. So I'm going to lock in for 2 hours. Focus Friend. There was an update for Focus Friend. There's a new room you can unlock, and I'm so close. I think we should be able to unlock the room if we focus for 2 hours. But look at how cute my first room is. I'm not done decorating it either, but let's focus. I was doing so well about not buying books that I don't own or anything like that. However, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just reading the first 100 pages and then putting it down for a while, or maybe it got worse, but I could not focus on this at all. It was not working. I just did not care. I was a little bit annoyed by it. It felt tedious, so I got the audiobook on Libro Family, used one of my credits, which feels less like real money even though I paid money for the credits, but I just could not. The Libby lines were too long and I was out of Spotify hours. I don't know what it is, and I'm about probably 80% of the way into it now with audiobook, and I'm still not enjoying it, but at least I can feel productive while I'm listening to it instead of just sitting here and reading it. But this is just really frustrating to me. I got to the Arius part, which is the first bunny that the bunnies made, or the first guy that the bunnies made, and it's like, he says frowny face or smiley face after every sentence, and that's super annoying. When something in a book or an audiobook gets really repetitive, like, it actually makes me so frustrated. This is not something that I'm enjoying. This is probably going to be a 2-star read for me, which was, one, really surprising because I liked the first 100 pages of this book, and 2, really disappointing because Bunny it's such like just like an iconic thing. So this feels really frustrating to me, but I'm not DNFing 2 books in this video. I'm determined to finish this one, especially since I own it. Then I can get it off of my physical TBR by having read it. I'm going to finish this, but it's not feeling good. It's not feeling great. This is not a great way to end the vlog, but it's okay. I finally finished We Love You, Bunny by Mona Awad, giving this book 2 stars. I'm so sad. And it set it up for a 3rd book, and I don't know if I'll read that book. We didn't even need a book 2. I don't think we need a book 3. This just felt annoying. I liked the mystique. I could have maybe taken the first 100 or so pages as a novella, and I think I would have liked that a lot better, but I did not need this story. I was not charmed by Arius. It was just annoying to read. The prose was irritating, so that's disappointing. I would have picked this up without the Goodreads Choice Awards though, so at least I would have suffered because of me rather than this video, so that's good. This is my final ranking. I did find one new book that cracked the top 10, Play Nice, and I probably wouldn't have read it, without this video, so that's good. What did we learn? Let's ruminate on what we've learned from doing this. I know my horror taste 99% of the time, and there is no point in picking up books that I hate. I should have DNF'd faster. There's 2 books that I probably should have DNF'd in addition to Never Flinch. And maybe if I'm more DNF happy next time, then I would do this again. Because would I do this again? Maybe. It depends on how many I read over the year. But maybe I'll just pick things off of my physical TBR next time or something. But I did have fun, despite my complaining. Did I think that When the Wolf Comes Home was going to be beat by any of these picks? No. But I am now at least fully informed. If there was ranked choice voting in the Goodreads Choice Awards, then this would have been a lot more helpful. But maybe you'll pick up a new book or not pick up a new book because of me. And that's kind of all I got for you. I'm going to read more Goodreads Choice Awards picks by the time you're seeing this. The top 10s have probably been announced, but I'm going to stick with my regular TBRs anyway because I need to read books off of my physical TBR mostly. Or maybe everything made it to the second round that I was planning on reading anyway. I guess we'll find out. I will be voting for When the Wolf Comes Home twice, hopefully. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Let me know if there was a horror book that you read this year that you think should have been on the Goodreads Choice Awards. If you don't have anything to add or just want to let me know that you are here, leave me a bunny for We Love You Bunny. And like this video if you feel like it. Follow if you care to watch me read more books I don't like, I guess. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!